The Silent Halloween, a foggy morning in October 1983, a team of local rangers and Canadian Mounties ventured into the dense wilderness of Blackthorn Forest in northern British Columbia. Their mission was to locate a reclusive community led by a charismatic figure named Elias Morrow, who had drawn a settlement called Haven's End 5 years prior. The group had transformed a clearing deep within the forest into a fortified commune, accessible only by navigating treacherous ravines, tangled underbrush, and towering cedars. Rumors of strange practices and disappearances had prompted the authorities to investigate, but they were warned that Morrow's followers were fiercely loyal and possibly armed. When the team reached Haven's End, an unsettling silence greeted them. The wooden gates stood ajar, creaking in the wind. As they stepped into the settlement, they were met with a horrifying sight. The central gathering hall was surrounded by the lifeless bodies of over 200 people, including men, women, and children, sprawled across the ground. The scene was chaos frozen in time, with cups of a strange dark liquid scattered among the remains. Investigators later determined that the death toll reached 237, marking it the largest mass casualty event in Canadian history at the time. Initially, it appeared to be a mass suicide, but the truth was far darker. Elias Morrow had started Haven's End as a spiritual retreat in Vancouver, promising a utopian life free from societal constraints. His teachings blended environmentalism with apocalyptic rhetoric, attracting devotees who saw him as a prophet. By 1978, facing scrutiny from local authorities for alleged financial fraud, Morrow led his followers into the wilderness, claiming Blackthorn Forest offered divine protection. Life in Haven's End was grueling. Members were forced to toil 14 hours a day, building structures and tending crops in the unforgiving terrain. Escape was nearly impossible. The settlement was encircled by a makeshift palisade, patrolled by armed sentries. Those who questioned Morrow faced public humiliation or worse. In early 1993, concerned relatives in Vancouver alerted authorities after receiving cryptic letters from loved ones, hinting at fear and coercion. On October 15, 1983, a provincial official named Clara Hensley, accompanied by a journalist and a small team, arrived at Haven's End to assess the situation. At first, the community appeared idyllic, with smiling residents showcasing their gardens and communal meals. But the facade crumbled when a young woman named Leela Carter slipped a note to Clara during a tour. It read, "Help us. Elias is lying, we're trapped." Emboldened, 6 others, including a senior member of Morrow's inner circle, confessed their desire to flee. The next day, Clara's team escorted the defectors to a nearby logging road where a helicopter waited. As they prepared to leave, a group of Morrow's loyalists ambushed them, firing rifles from a pickup truck. Clara and 2 others were killed, and the helicopter pilot was wounded. Back at Haven's End, Morrow gathered his followers in the gathering hall, declaring that the outside world was coming to destroy their paradise. He urged them to drink a concoction he called the final sacrament. While some complied willingly, others, particularly children, were coerced at gunpoint. Autopsies later revealed that many had been injected with a lethal toxin. By the time the Mounties arrived, the tragedy was complete. Elias Morrow was found among the dead, having taken his own life. The scale of the loss and the forced deaths left a permanent scar on those who witnessed the aftermath. In March 1927, a carpenter named Thomas Reed visited a remote farmstead near Lockmore, Scotland, owned by the McBride family. Hired to fix a broken mill wheel, Thomas arrived to find the farm eerily quiet. The sheep in the pen were bleating frantically, but the house itself was still. After knocking repeatedly with no response, he assumed the family was away and began his repairs. Noticing the mill door ajar, he completed the work but grew uneasy about the silence. He trekked to the nearest neighbor, a widow named Agnes Kerr, a mile away, to report the odd situation. Agnes, familiar with the McBrides, found their absence suspicious. She rallied to neighbors, and together they returned to the farm. Inside the barn, they uncovered a gruesome scene. The bodies of 4 family members: Ewan McBride, 60, his wife, Fiona, 58, their daughter, Isla, 29, and their grandson, Rory, 3, were hidden beneath piles of straw. The family maid, Elsie, was found in a storage room, her body concealed under a tarp. All had been killed with a heavy blade, likely an axe. Over the course of a single night, the killer had lingered, covering the bodies to delay discovery. Strangely, valuables like jewelry and cash remained untouched, ruling out robbery as a motive. Locals whispered of a stranger seen lurking near the farm days before, and the previous farmhand had quit months earlier, claiming to hear footsteps in the attic at night. Despite extensive searches, no suspect was ever identified. and the McBride murders remain one of Scotland's enduring mysteries. In August 2017, Park Ranger Elena Vasquez was conducting a survey in the dense Redwood Hollow of Oregon, and she stumbled upon a hidden structure nestled among the ferns. It wasn't a crude shelter, but a meticulously built cabin with a stone foundation, insulated walls, and a padlocked door. Intrigued, Elena alerted her team, who monitored the site for days. When no one appeared, they entered, finding a stocked pantry, a solar-powered lamp, and journals filled with cryptic poetry but no names. Assuming abandonment, they posted a notice and left. When they returned to dismantle the cabin, it was gone. Not a single plank or nail remained. Only a chalk-drawn spiral symbol and the dirt mark associated with transient communities. Was the occupant a fugitive, a hermit, or something else? The mystery of the vanishing cabin lingers, unanswered. In June 2019, a hiker in the Smoky Hills of Tennessee found a discarded trail camera near a creek. Thinking it was broken, he took it to a friend, an electronics hobbyist named Greg Palmer. When Greg attached a battery, the device detonated, severely injuring his hand and chest. Authorities later found 3 more rigged cameras in the area, each packed with explosives. A local tip led them to a recluse named Victor Hale, whose shed contained bomb-making materials and a scrawled note, "Shattered lens for a shattered mind." During a search for more devices, Hale attacked an officer and was fatally shot. 7 additional rigged cameras were found, but the fear persists that others remain hidden in the hills. In December 1990, a trapper in the Frostvale Woods of Manitoba discovered a rusted oil drum buried under snow. Inside were the dismembered remains of a woman and a child, both killed by blunt force trauma. The case went cold until 2005, when a second drum was found nearby, containing 2 more children's remains. DNA identified the victims as Ellen Carver, 28, and her daughters, Lily, 6, and Rose, 2. The killer was later linked to a drifter named Amos Kane, who had died in prison in 2001 for an unrelated crime. The Frostvale murders, though solved, remain a chilling enigma. In September 2007, a jogger in Ashwood Forest, Maine, noticed his dog digging at a mound near a fire trail. A foul odor led him to uncover a pit containing 5 bundles wrapped in plastic and weighted with stones. Forensic teams identified remains from 3 victims, killed over years by various methods: strangulation, blunt trauma, and stabbing. One was tied to a 2004 missing person case. The others were unidentified. The site's proximity to a hiking path baffled investigators, yet no suspect was ever found, leaving the Ashwood pit a haunting mystery. In April 1994, a farmer near Eldon, Wales, found a human torso wrapped in burlap in a ditch. The head and hands were missing, likely to obscure identity. The victim, a man aged 35 to 50, showed signs of surgical precision in the dismemberment. Despite a task force and extensive searches, no leads emerged. A nearby cottage yielded a cryptic note with numbers, but it led nowhere. The Eldon torso case remains unsolved, a grim reminder of the secrets forests can hold.